Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
Big news.
What?
I want to take a minute.
This is it?
And I want to talk about ice cream.
What? No! No! No way! No way!
Ice cream is
no
one of my
way!
favorite
No
desserts.
way! No way!
Personally,
No!
I love
No way!
chocolate.
No
And I love
way!
cookies
No
and
way,
cream.
dude! No way! No way! Is
Cookies
this
and
going where I
cream
think it's
is
going? No way!
actually
No way!
my
No
all-time
way!
favorite dessert. But I understand that for some of you,
No way!
your favorite flavor
No way, dude!
is vanilla.
No way! No.
God damn it. Don't take a minute.
Talk about ice cream. Ice cream is great.
Ice Cream Citadel.
Ice cream is one of my favorite desserts.
Wrath of the Fire King confirmed.
Your favorite flavor is vanilla.
No way. What?
Someone once said that you can't go home again, but they have a vision.
Well, everyone, I want to start by saying that this win, if this is a win, is 4 years in the making. And I want to personally thank every single person who created a character on Nostalrius, on Kronos, on Elysium. I want to thank every single person who signed a petition. I want to thank every single person who went on the forums and talked and asked questions, the people that went to BlizzCon. We won, guys, we won. With me is Defcamp, my brother Matt. Say hi, Matt. And I just, you know, as you can see in the intro, I unfortunately did not see it live, but I saw it. I got a YouTube notification that Warcraft had announced it, and I called my brother right away, and then we were like, "Holy shit!" So, we did it, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really all because of the community that this happened.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the, so many people, saying that they want this and that this, if Blizzard were to do it, they'd play and they'd pay, then I don't think Blizzard would have done it. So it's the community that, you guys need to pat yourself on the backs because we did it. So.
Yep. And the people at Nost, I mean, I want to personally thank them. By the way, Matt's not playing right now. I'm on just this random hunter that I made 5 seconds ago just to run around while we talk on Elysium, on Light's Hope. But, it's like, there's a lot of questions, and this is going to be a general discussion. We're going to sit here and talk about a few things, but one of them is going to be, what does this mean, right? So, and the first thing I want to say is that if you guys play on Elysium and Light's Hope, Elysium, I'll put a link in the description, but Elysium came out with an official statement, and they pretty much said they're going to keep these things open. They're going to keep Elysium running until the day Blizzard puts up their own legacy servers. So Elysium, Light's Hope, if you guys know, of course, the drama that's been going on with Elysium over the past week or two, but the new Light's Hope is going to keep up their servers at least for another. Well, that's another point we have to discuss how long this is going to be, but the servers will be active until that point.
And that just goes for the Elysium servers, because I was talking to, me and my friends right now are playing on Warmane, BC, a couple guys from the guild from Legion, and a lot of them seem to think that it's not going to have much of a reaction on, and I, totally disagree. I think, especially once, and that's another question we have: is this going to be just vanilla at the start? Is it going to go to BC Wrath? Is it going to keep going?
Yeah, that's a huge question.
I haven't found any videos, saying that that's going to happen. So far, all we have is classic.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So there was a if you guys haven't seen it, I'll put another link in the description. There was a Q&A for J. Allen Brack. What is his name, man?
Brack, J.R. Brack.
Yeah, the guy who actually, you know, the original "You think you do, but you don't" guy. They had it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's his name. He's the community. Well, he's in charge of a. I forget his official title. Anyway, he's the guy that originally said, "You think you do, but you don't." He's also the guy that came out and said during BlizzCon yesterday that we will be having vanilla service. So he ate his own words, which is great. But there was an interview with him with Eurogamer, which I'll put the link in the description. I'm going to pull that up on my phone real quick. There's a bunch of questions that were asked that we're going to discuss right now during the talk. Give me 1 second. Matt, talk while I do this.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, think a little bit about, what, because I was just watching, I gotta say, Nixium's expression, his reaction to this was, I got the chills every time I watch this, but just like the community's reaction to this, is just mind blowing because, I'm coming from Legion, so a lot of guys I play with are younger. They haven't really experienced the vanilla thing, and they're not too excited about it. But then some of the guys, that I play with are, have been playing since vanilla, and I can already see that it's kind of being split a little bit. Like what's going to happen are a lot of people going to play classic, and is that going to hurt retail? I personally don't think so. I personally would like to play both. Because I like to continue to play Warcraft as it progresses, but I can already say that my main focus will probably be on vanilla or on BC servers because BC personally is my favorite.
Right.
But I can already see like in my guild like there's an issue like okay, we're a mythic raiding guild, like we need people to show up to raid. Are they going to show up to raid when they're playing classic and don't want to play retail? So
right. Exactly.
It does bring up a little concern for some people, but I could care less about that because this has been my personal dream to be able to play a Blizzard version of Classic BC for the longest time and not have to worry about, bugs and doing something illegal and feeling like, oh my god, am I going to get, banned for putting this on YouTube or so it's just
right.
For me, this is the ultimate win because I've been playing on a BC server, a vanilla server, and I have had more fun playing on that server than I have all year on Legion.
Yeah, so I agree. You know how I've felt about it. I started this channel because of Classic WoW, but I'm gonna go through some of these questions that were asked real quick. So, okay, when is Classic WoW going to go live? And JL and Brack, of course, has no answer to that. And this is not surprising. I don't think it's going to be. I think honestly, it's going to be a year.
People have been speculating 6 months to a year.
Yeah,
that's speculations, and I think more towards a year also.
Yeah,
because from what they said, they have a long ways to go on this, and they still are hiring people. Like I was just watching a panel with Ian Hestakostas. He came on and was talking with a streamer, and he said they still haven't they're still putting the job postings up for this.
Yeah.
So they still have a long ways to go.
I 100%. I can realize that. It's a huge, and I think people don't realize how big of an undertaking this really is. Because people are like, well, private servers are doing it with like 5 people. Why can't Blizzard do it right tomorrow? And the issue is,
to do it right.
They have to do it right, number one. Number two, they have to integrate it with all their current software. Number three, they don't want to take any. They want to stay true to the retail people, and they don't want to take anybody away from that because they're working on a new expansion. So, I personally don't care about retail, but the thing is, a lot of people do, and if you're going to throw all those people, you're basically saying screw you to the people who are paying $15 a month if you take people away from the retail development. Right. So I totally understand that. And I think that's probably what, why it's going to take so long. Hiring new people. Go ahead.
I don't think this Classic is going to come. It's not going to come out probably until the new expansion is released. Probably not until after. I could be totally wrong on that, but they're going to put as much hype into this next expansion as they can. They're going to get people on board for that. They're going to get subs for that, and then they're going to release.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to release them at the same time. That would be suicide. They're not going to release them at the same time. Either Classic's going to come out before, or it's going to come out after the new expansion.
I really don't think it's. I mean, it might. It could come out before, so they do the subs for the Battle for Azeroth. But I don't know. You know, that's a good question. But I mean, this Battle for Azeroth, this might not be for at least another year, because we still have a little ways to go in Legion. You know, we still have the next raid coming out.
Correct.
We still have all that's going to happen after that. The patch that comes right before the expansion is going to be big, I can imagine.
Yes.
So that's at least another year almost that we're looking for the Battle for Azeroth. So it could be a while for this, guys, but it's coming. We know it's coming. That's the important part. All
right, here's the next question I want to tackle, and I suppose you're not ready to talk in any detail about how to work. J. Allen Brack's response was, some of the reason why we're not ready to talk about it is we actually don't know yet. The important announcement today was we're doing this. We've heard the community, we've heard our own internal teams, we've heard all the comments over the years. When it comes to the details, we don't know all the answers just yet. There's also the fact that now we've announced this, we might want to partner with the community in some of those answers. WoW changed a lot in the first 2 years, before the Burning Crusade came along, and so how exactly should it work? Those questions we got to talk about for sure. So, I think what he means by that is, during the patch releases, a lot of abilities changed. A lot of, PvP wasn't around when the game first came out. You guys got to realize that. There was no PvP back then. You can hit the opposing faction, and that was it. There was no battlegrounds. There was no ranking system. There was no, honor system. So I'm sure they want to launch with that. You know what I mean? Why would you not want to launch with an honor system?
Right.
So
I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I was listening to Ian again, because he had this. They went on a little bit about the classic, and he really said, how far do we go? Do we, because a big part of vanilla when it was launched was the lag and all this stuff that was happening. He's like, a lot of it is going to be, we have to get, what the community wants, because. And this is where your guys' job comes in, because we need to get the message out that we want this to be as Blizz-like, as vanilla-like as it was, but not to the point where we're going to be, loot lagging in the Barrens for 10 hours.
Exactly.
Trying to loot something, but and he kind of made a joke about that. He's like, well, it's not really vanilla unless you're sliding across the Barrens, trying to loot something, and your guy's like one knee on the ground, but. Because that's what it was like. I mean, there was so much lag. There were so many little issues, so I think the goal is for them to try to get that real vanilla experience without the issues of the lag. But then how far does that go? I hope to God they don't implement a looking for group, all that kind of stuff, because then they'll think, oh, well, this is, more time consuming if people need to. But that's part of the vanilla experience, was looking for the group, looking for people, going to the Hearthstone, And so those are the things we need to keep in the experience. We need to keep those true vanilla things that happen, going to the Hearthstone, not just being, put into a queue and then being automatically put in a dungeon. That's not a real vanilla experience. So I think the community has a lot to do and can have a big input on what's going to happen. So that's your job, guys, is to get your message out, tell them what you want, and tell them what you don't want.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like what Alex Sensual said. I mean, you have to realize that this is a battle. We won the battle. We did not win the war yet. The war is to make sure they do it right. So that's what we have to really fight for now. We won the battle, but we haven't won the war yet.
We all know Blizz, guys. We know they could screw this up. They really could. I hope to God they don't. I think they have the ability not to, but that's where we come in. We have to tell them, please don't do this, or please do this, please keep this. Are we going to start off, right in the beginning, or is it going to slowly progress as it did in vanilla? And then is BC going to launch at the end, and then can you transfer your character over? Can you transfer your character to the BC realm?
Yeah.
Can you continue playing on the vanilla realm? Will that be a thing forever? These are the things we need to talk about and get out to the community.
Correct. And that brings up a good point. One question I had, which was not asked by this interviewer, is are they going to do a patch schedule? So are they going to come out with Molten Core and then slowly release the patches like they did? That wasn't a question asked by this interviewer, and I'm like, that should have been the first question. How are you going to implement the patches?
Exactly.
And of course, they have no answer to that yet. But I'm assuming they're going to follow Nostalrius's plan, where they just kind of released patches as time moved on. That seems to me the most logical way to do it.
Definitely. And hopefully they get some of the support from those guys, because those guys knew what they were doing. I mean,
they did, yeah.
And if they had the Blizzard team behind them, they could really do some good work. So, or
absolutely.
In the forefront, more so,
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. So the next question is, anything jump out at you that you've forgotten about old school World of Warcraft? And Jalen Brack's response is, yeah, I've forgotten that whenever you buffed one of your party members with intellect, you had to actually sit down and drink after that. Then you stood up, buffed another party member with intellect, and then you had to drink again. It's a much slower pace, and that's a lot of prep time. It's an interesting part of the human memories, right? I think we like to remember good parts, but the bad parts sometimes go away over time. I disagree with that last sentence. Of course I remember drinking after every pull. That was not a bad thing for me. I don't know about you.
Part of the game. That was the slower paced game that it was. I was just doing a dungeon on. I just hit 70 on the BC server I'm on, and it's frustrating. Like sometimes, like, oh my god, I was just on my Legion Holy Paladin, and I didn't have to sit down and drink once. But it's part of the experience, and it's being true to what the game was, because when you really think about it, guys, they're two different games now. They are, retail and classic. They are two totally different games, and we have to keep that in mind going forward. We can't say, oh, well, this works really good in retail, we should integrate that in vanilla. No, that's not how it is. Vanilla was vanilla.
Yeah.
It was a different game, and
right.
Keep looking at it as it is a different game.
Yeah.
Because if we start implementing one thing, it's going to be another and another and another.
Yeah, and people don't realize it was normal back then, because, number one, a slower pace meant you got to know people, number one. No, and you got to know people that you're in a party. Number two, you have to realize, guys, is it was normal back in the day to sign on, run a dungeon, and sign off. Mm-hmm. That's how it was back then. You would sign on, you would run a dungeon for an hour and a half.
Or 4.
Or 4 hours.
You're doing black,
yeah.
Black.
And that was your night, guys. And, it's not like now where you log on and do an instant friggin' queue and you're in a dungeon for 15 minutes. No, that's not how it was. So a lot of the reason people like this, I like that. I like being able to sign on, talk to people in my group. Hey guys, how's strategize? Where are you guys from? X, Y, and Z. That was not a bad thing for me.
And Phil, like Melderon, talking about that is so funny, because in my guild right now, we have a lot of Wrath babies. We have even Legion babies. We have Moth babies, and we tried to get as many of them over onto this BC server because we're having fun. We kind of slowed down in our mythic progression because a lot of people weren't showing and stuff like that. So, which kind of sucks because we were on the last boss. But anyway, a lot of them got really frustrated at the pace, and they're like, this sucks. I don't like this. I don't like that. And it was frustrating for me to hear that, because they never played it, as it was in live, when it was live. And is that, a lot of the people who play retail when this comes live are going to have some negative things to say about, Classic, because it's not the game they know.
Right.
But us as the community who play vanilla and play, the older expansions, have to step up and say, listen, you guys, if you guys want to play that pace, you guys can play retail. You guys can play, the later expansions when they come out. But we want vanilla and BC to be as they were when they came out.
Correct.
We don't want that fast pace. We don't. That's why we play this. That's why we decided to download. Lights Hope, Nostalrius, whatever. That's why we decided to do this. Is because we liked that game, and we want to play it. So the community is going to be split on this for a little bit, for the people who haven't experienced it and the people that are going to be coming over, and they might have a free, opt into this. If they're buying the new expansion, they might be able to get to play Classic for free. So they're going to be in there. They're going to be in that community.
Yeah.
But that's where we have to step up and say, guys, okay, this is a different game. You have to realize this is a totally different aspect of these things, and it doesn't work the same way as live works. So I think that's where the community needs to step up.
Yeah. All right, so the next point is the interviewer asked him, basically, it's a long question, but how is the team going to integrate the authentic experience with some things that just don't work anymore, like these clunky things that were in the World of Warcraft? And Jay Allen's response was, that's part of the level 60 experience. Our goal is to recreate the classic 1 to 60 gameplay. Some things change as time went on, with different patches. How does that get manifested? That's one of the outstanding questions. But yeah, the goal is to recreate that exact experience for better or for worse.
Cool.
So let's hope they stick to that.
Yeah.
So again, there are some clunky things that I don't think the game should launch without PvP. I think it should launch with PvP. That's just a common sense thing, I think. It should launch with Battlegrounds, I think, personally. What do you think?
I don't know about that. I think it should launch as Blizz-like as it was. Not with all the craziness, not with all the lag, of course not with all the, server shutdowns and all that kind of crap. But
okay.
I think they should stay true to the progression of vanilla as it was. As
okay.
much as they can.
So you think they should bring in Battlegrounds after a few months?
Okay. I think that people's focus, because if it's going to be Blizz-like, guys, we're going to be leveling for a while. We're going to be leveling, getting our bearings, and except the people who, of course, like to power level and do that. I like to take my time leveling. I like to experience.
Especially since 60's hit. Once you hit the 60,
Exactly.
that's your level cap.
It's a grind. It's not. We're not going to be putting on any heirlooms or
nope.
Any of that kind of crap.
No transmog, so you're wearing shit for it looks like you look like a clown because you have 6 different color clothes on. But hey, that's just the way it was.
Yeah, and the thing that's really cool about this is we get to a lot of the private servers, they have those cash-ins, that you can buy gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it takes away from the experience, I think, in a way. And we won't hopefully be having any of that. But I think in order to get that real feeling of this is the true experience, we need to do it in the progression that it happened in.
Correct.
That's the way I feel about it.
Okay. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I just thought it would be logical just to launch with PvP.
It would, but then I feel like if they do that, then they're going to do
other shit. I see what you're saying.
They're going to do another little
yeah.
thing. So I think it's either one or the other. We either keep it the way it was, have it 100%, actual Blizz-like,
or don't do it at all.
Or don't do it at all. Or we do this thing, and then they say, okay, well, we did that. So then this isn't that big of a jump. If we do this, then this isn't that big of a jump.
No, I agree. It's a slippery slope. Yeah, you're right.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think it's all or nothing, guys, with this, and we really have to look at that because as the vanilla community and the as it was the private server community, which will now be called something the classic community, I guess. We need to, like I'm saying, we need to put our thoughts out there. There's going to be a lot of conflicting viewpoints, and they're going to take what they're going to take from it, and they're going to probably look at the majority of the the opinions. So hopefully there's enough people out there who are really passionate about this and want it to be what it can be as a true vanilla experience.
Yep. I agree. That's a good one, Matt. All right, so okay. What are the big issues that you're going to need to face here? You mentioned during the presentation that the server infrastructure that was there originally is no longer in place. In fact, the way the game was programmed at that time must be widely different than today. What else is there? Well, he says, J. Allen Brack's response is, you've highlighted the big ones, but we started work on this project. We couldn't actually run vanilla WoW when they started it. The hardware is different. The operating systems are different. There was no way for it to just work. I don't I don't understand that. I mean, maybe when they got the old script, that's probably what they meant. They probably tried to run the old script on the newer hardware and it didn't work.
That's not going to work. Yeah.
Because obviously Nostalria's pulled it off, but again, that was because they probably updated all their scripting to work with the newer hardware. So I don't think that's a bullshit response. I just think it's a response that's like, well, yeah, no crap, because this you were working with hardware that was ancient back then, and I don't know.
And that's where a lot of this they're going to be putting job postings up. The guys out there who worked, if you're listening to this, who worked on some of the private servers, get ready to look for some job openings because they probably will be hiring some of you guys. Because you guys, especially the guys on the salaries and Lights Open, you guys did a really good job with what you had. So I wouldn't be surprised if they hired some of you guys. And I really think that that's going to be a huge part because. How many people on the team are originally there from when they, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's not a lot of people there. I'm sure there are some people there who've been with, Blizzard and the Warcraft team since the beginning, but I'm sure they have a lot of new faces. The company has grown immensely since then. So they're going to need some help on this. We're going to need to give them time. We're going to need to give them some help on this. So it's going to be a big project, guys. It's going to be, a pretty big undertaking, I think. Especially for them to do it right. So
be patient.
Patient.
Yeah. Okay. Are these going to be the separate development teams? One working for Battle for Azeroth, and one working for WoW. We already talked about that, and yes, basically they're going to hire an entire different team. So they're not going to take away from either of the games. Basically, they're going to have a dedicated team working on Battle for Azeroth. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. And they're going to have another team working for Classic, which makes total sense to me.
Yeah, 2 different games.
Yeah.
They really are. So.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a good question. How are players going to play for Classic WoW? J. Allen Brack's response: I have no idea. Me and Matt were talking about this, and we thought that. If you pay the $15 a month, you get the retail subscription, and then they throw in the Classic for free. I don't know.
That seems kind of fair to me.
Yeah, but then people, of course, are going to bitch because they don't want to play retail, and they don't want to pay $15 for both.
So if they want to play just Classic, what do they pay? Half?
I would say half. I would say half is definitely fair.
I would pay. I would pay personally $15.99 just to play Classic. But then there's people out there who probably wouldn't, and I could totally understand that.
Yeah.
But is it going to be a one-time fee, which I totally doubt? But is it? Probably not. Is it going to be a monthly subscription fee? Probably. It probably won't be what retail will be, but it'll probably be
it would be really fucked up if they charged a flat rate. You know how they charge for each expansion? And then they charge you a monthly fee. You know how fucked up it would be if Blizz was charged us a flat rate for vanilla and then also paid because essentially we have all the data already. We've already paid for all of us have already paid for it.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it, because everyone who plays Warcraft,
we bought every expansion.
You did. When you first bought the game, you bought every. But when you first you can't just buy Legion, right? You have to buy another. Is that how it works?
If you start now, you just buy Legion.
Oh, you don't have to pay extra money for all the other expansions? Oh, okay.
So the people who started playing in Legion, they only had to buy Legion. But the people who have been playing since Vanilla, since BC, and have bought
bought for every expansion, yeah.
They should be rewarded. They should be given the Vanilla experience for free, in my opinion.
But their business.
They gotta see how do you keep track of all that. That's a whole other system that you have to put in place.
Plus, my subscription has not been active that whole time, so I don't know if I deserve it or not. But
Yeah, but how much money have you spent on Warcraft?
I actually don't want to know. Actually, yeah. All right. So next question. Okay, what happens if WoW Classic ends up being a huge success that's potentially expensive for Blizzard in terms of server costs? He's like, that's a problem for future us. I mean, it's a good problem. I think there'll be a lot of initial interest and then some sustained interest. But if it happens, we'll figure it out then. And I think he's right about that. I think a bunch of people are going to try it, and a bunch of people are going to be like, "Oh, I can't do this. This is too hard." You know what I mean? I think that's what's going to happen. Is that a bunch of people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I want to try it." I was like 1 when this came out. I want to see what it's like, and then they're going to be like, I'm going back to retail." So I think there's going to be a small, strong community. I think what's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not so. I think the same thing pretty much. Because we already kind of see that with the private servers. You see the people who play on the salaries. The 1x. Those are a different group of people that play on the 5x servers.
Yeah.
Or the other servers that you're boosted and then you play end game. and that's going to be interesting to see. How is that going to play out with their version of it? Is it going to be, that kind of goes back to our other, is it going to be more Blizz-like, or is it going to be something different? So,
Right.
and that also goes to the question, are they going to go up to every expansion to what live is? Are they going to do vanilla, BC, Wrath, Kata? Are they going to do that whole progression? That's a lot of time and effort if they do.
They do, yeah.
I think a lot of people would like that. I would like that personally. I would love to play on a vanilla server, a BC server, and a Wrath server. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, me too.
I would
me
love
too.
it if I could progress my character from vanilla to BC to Wrath. I think that would be pretty cool. But then I would also like to go back and play vanilla whenever I wanted to, or go back and play BC whenever I wanted to.
So I think the logical explanation for that is you do a character copy.
Right.
The technology already exists because you do that exact thing when PTRs come out. You copy your character to the PTR. So all they have to do is copy the character over to the next expansion.
So with the characters, and then maybe the character would still exist on the vanilla server.
Yes, because your character still exists when you do the PTR. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same exact thing basically. All they have to do is implement that kind of technology, and it's fucking easy. I mean,
so there are guidelines out there for how this could go. There are previous private servers who have done those things where they've copied their characters to different in different expansions and things like that. So the technology exists. It's definitely something they could do. But again, it's how much time and effort are they going to put into this, and how much are they going to because their goal is to not take away from retail,
right,
to make this a separate entity. Because from what it looks like, they really put a lot of time and effort into they always, well, except for maybe Warlords, they put a lot of time and effort into their expansions, and
yeah.
I'm sure they did when Warlords first came out too. But so it's and then there's a lot of questions that I think will be won't be answered until we get closer.
Yeah, I agree.
So we can only speculate and also give our opinion.
Okay. Oh crap! I don't have enough money for that. I'm buying my hunter training. I don't have enough money. The hunter takes on the aspects of the monkey, increasing chance to dodge by 80%. Yeah, why not? All right. So okay, the next question. I've had a number of interviews with the WoW team in which I've asked about legacy servers, and you couldn't talk about it. So what happened now? What changed? And his response is, we said for several years that if we were able to flip a switch and have it work, we'd flip that switch. It's not something that we didn't want to do for any arbitrary reason. There were legitimate, significant technical reasons. I'm going to call bullshit on that because this is the guy who says you think you do, but you don't. So
I am too. I think they were really split on this. I think there were some people who wanted it and some people who really were against it.
Yes.
But I think the overwhelming, cry from the community said, guys, we want this.
Correct.
And we won't play retail, but we will play on private servers, and you're going to lose out on it.
Yes.
And I think they saw that, and they saw the cash signs. Unfortunately, Blizzard, they care about money, so they're going to go where the money is, and they're going to make money off of this. But they wouldn't do it if they didn't see that they could make money off of it.
Correct.
So I think that's what happened. I think they saw that enough people are going to play this. Maybe we should give it a shot. Maybe we should do it, see how the community reacts, and then go from there.
Yeah.
And I think the community reacted, just as we knew they would. Shock and awe, and finally. But I think they, for some reason, I think a lot of them are proud in how the game has progressed, and they see it as their baby, and this is something they made. And to go back, it's kind of like a slap in the face to them a little bit, I guess, that so many people want to see. But I think differently. I think it's more of like, we love your game so much that we want to, we will do anything to play it, and we'll pay to play it.
Yep.
I think they are finally looking at it that way and saying, okay, this is a homage to how the game. This is a thanks basically to.
Yep, that's true.
Instead of a slap in the face. So I think the climate has changed a little bit on that and how they look at it, and I think they're finally coming around and seeing that this isn't anything against you guys, and what a lot of guys love to play retail, but a lot of guys love classic and BC.
Yep.
that's what they want to play. You know, don't take offense to it.
Yeah.
See it as something that you guys did something awesome. People love it.
Correct. Yeah. All right. So the next question. I know you're not ready to talk about the release date here. It sounds like you're at the very early stages of development here, and as you've mentioned, you're still in the hiring process. But are we talking about months of development before this goes on, or years? His response is, this is a massive effort, and this is a very, very significant effort. I would not expect it to be soon. We actually don't know when we're going to release it. I know that's a generic answer that we give for all of our Blizzard titles, but with this one, we don't actually know how long it will take.
Yeah.
I think that's a relatively... that makes sense. That answer makes sense to me. Part of me doesn't think it takes as long as they're saying it does. I don't know that, but I could be totally wrong about that. What do you think?
They still are. They're still a little bit on the fence on how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So I think they know, for the most part, what they're going to do, what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I think what they need to do is, have this guy. I think they don't have it like set in stone yet.
Yeah.
So they know what they want to do. They know what they need to do. They know what they need to do to get there. But they're not exactly 100% sure how to do it and what to do.
Yeah.
So I think they need the time to figure that stuff out. And then once they have figured that out, it won't be too much longer after that. So again, I'm not seeing it within the next few months. I'm thinking, 6 months to maybe a little bit more than a year.
Yeah.
Probably closer to the year point. Again, I think Battle for Azeroth is going to come out first.
Yeah.
And then the classic. So, we're looking at some time.
Yeah.
But, I think the developers are still a little, like I said, on the fence about how exactly they're going to go about this until they have an exact guideline and set how they're going to do it. They probably won't get started on the actual meat and potatoes of it.
Right,
So,
exactly. Yeah, I agree. All right.
It's gonna be
Do you suspect we're talking about months here or years? He asked the same question twice, and the guy said, "This is a massive effort." That's the only response he gave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't keep asking. Is
I don't think it's
basically
going to be
what
like 3 years, guys. It's not going to be like 3 years. I'm thinking anywhere, like I said, between maybe 6 months to maybe the most a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking the most. 6 months would be amazing if they did it in 6 months, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
We're
exactly.
looking probably more from the 10 months to, a year kind of.
Yeah. So here's the next question is hysterical. A couple of years ago, there was a quote going around from you after someone asked you about legacy servers. You told them it's not actually something they want to play. So this is, of course, the you think you do, but you don't.
He was trying his Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah, and his response was, "I'm familiar with that quote." So, and then,
biting that right now.
yeah. And then he said, "Have you changed your mind since then?" And Brack's response is, "I think the sentiment I was trying to communicate back then was nostalgia is a very real thing, but that doesn't diminish the fact that there are people that want that game experience, right? I think sentimentality and nostalgia are worthwhile. I wasn't trying to say that players didn't deserve this thing or anything like that." So that's his way of, I guess, skirting around it. I thought that you think you do. I mean, his response was literally the words "no." And then he said, "You think you do, but you don't." So it was a very strong response. So I think
basically saying that all the people who are playing on private servers right now are like what do they not exist? Like they're out there. They've played private servers, like the community.
Yeah, if anyone logged on to the Scenario Store in its heyday, they had 3 servers at one point.
At any given time, there's 5,000 to 10,000 people playing on Warmate, on
Elysium.
You think about it and you put that all into one server, and I guarantee because there's people out there. I was one of them. I wanted to play Classic for a long time, but I didn't want to do it on a private server. I wanted it to be. And I guarantee there's going to be even more people who haven't played on private servers but are going to want to play.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So they're going to have a pretty big, community there. And to say you think you do but you don't is, I think he was kind of pressured in maybe to saying something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think they like I said before, they take a lot of they kind of take it personal to some extent. When they get.
Oh, it's their baby.
Yeah, exactly. But he was wrong. I think he was, like you said, he was dancing around that, and I think their whole outlook on it has changed since then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That they finally realized they can make some money off this. This
Yeah.
is something that people want. Let's go ahead and do it. You know.
Right. All right, next question. Are you expecting players to come back to Vanilla WoW and properly invest in that game, or just have a look around for nostalgia's sake? His response is both. One of the things we do know is that by announcing this, we're in the classic business forever. Once that starts, there's a commitment on our end that we're going to continue maintaining those servers for as long as there's a World of Warcraft. I think there will be people that come and then people do the nostalgia trip, then they go to the Barrens and find Mankrieg's wife, and then they're done. That's fine. Some amount of people, however, are going to create a new classic community, and that's what we'll be providing. Those people just don't want the old gameplay features. They want the constant social connection. And so we can't just support it for a couple of months, and then if it's not working out, ditch it. There has to be an assurance that we can build a character, build a guild, build these friendships, and the server will continue no matter what.
Yes.
That's a great response, because I'm sure people are afraid, what if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work out? Then what are they going to do? You know,
Right.
And they're saying once the servers go up, they're not going down until World of Warcraft dies, which I don't know if that'll ever happen.
See, that's
Yeah.
and that's where I got worried in the past too, because I always thought like, okay, they're gonna do it, and it's gonna be like these time walking dungeons. It's gonna be easier than it was. It's gonna be
Right.
different, because like, okay, they announced the old OR time walking. That's gonna be a thing in 7.35 or something like that. So
The raid?
yeah, they're gonna do. So
Oh.
they already released Black Temple Time Walking, and it was.
Oh, yeah.
I went in there. I did it expecting it to be as hard as it was back in BC. It was not. It was.
But do
very
you think that has to do with the abilities, though?
Yes, a lot of it has to do with the abilities and the scaling, how they do the scaling. If they were to give everyone the abilities that, say, if I was a Holy Paladin and they took away, my beacon, they took away and they made it exactly how a Holy Paladin was back in BC,
Yeah.
it would be a lot different, but I think people would be a little intimidated by it, especially the people who haven't played back then.
Right.
So it's something that they could, explore with more on retail. So the whole time walking thing, all that, keep that on retail, but don't bring that aspect into the classic. Please don't make it, easier like they do for the time walking. That's cool to explore on retail. You keep it that way.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
where I was getting nervous, because I was thinking, oh my god, like, are they going to make these servers like a giant time walking? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
No.
a
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
Like giant time walking like server, where it's like, everything's easier. Everything's the way it was, but it's like on like easy mode. Basically.
Right. And that would be
And that's-
horrible.
that was-
Yeah.
Exactly. That would be, I think, a total flop. That would be, people would be like, oh, cool, let's check it out, and now it's like a giant time walking dungeon.
Yeah.
Like, screw this. So I think, leave that aspect on the retail, keep that time walking thing going, and then also do this the right way, make it, 100%. And honestly, guys, like, I don't think it's gonna, I definitely don't think it's gonna flop, as long as they do it the right way, as long as
Yeah.
they keep it. I mean, you can already look at the community that's, these private servers, and then there's the question, are they going to have, one or two servers per class, per expansion, per
Yeah.
vanilla? So then you're splitting the community up a little bit. Are they going to have a PvP server, a PvE server? How are they going to do
Correct.
that?
Yeah.
Are they going to integrate the servers? Because like back in the day, your server was
Sorry,
your
guys.
server.
Yeah.
You had battle groups and PvP, but you couldn't do anything. You couldn't do any raids with someone on a different server. You couldn't do any dungeons. Everything was on that server. So are they going
Right.
to make it per server, or are they going to have two servers and integrate those servers? But then if you do that, you're losing that whole aspect of
Correct.
vanilla.
Correct. Ooh, getting hit by a troll. Okay. Well, I'm running away from this troll. Let's go to the next one.
Well, that's the Trollman.
The
new
Trollman.
Saga of Trolls.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after we're done. Has Blizzard maintained a relationship with the people behind the unofficial legacy servers? I know the Nostalrius guys visited Blizzard at one point. We've talked to both Demon and Viper, the leads for that project, a handful of times since the visit. Do you see them being more heavily involved in WoW Classic? We would welcome their involvement for sure. I think one of the challenges is that they're both French, so there's a little bit of a visa issue, but we'd be open to it. They're very passionate and strong Blizzard fans, clearly.
I'm sure they could be like,
Yeah.
you know how like when they have a movie and they have like, an advisor, kind of. You know what I mean? I'm sure they can help a lot and do that. I'm sure they're going to take their opinions into play. They would be stupid not to.
Yes, yes. All right, last question. Okay, actually, that was it. So my two issues were, I think there were two questions that he should have asked and he didn't. One was the patch cycle, which we talked about that already.
Right.
The second one was, are they going to continue with the other expansions? And I think the answer to that question is, if this is a success, yes, they're gonna do BC and the rest of them.
I mean, they're gonna have to,
Yeah.
because there are so many people who. I mean, I love vanilla, but to me, the perfect balance of abilities, the perfect amount of. There's so much to do in the Burning Crusade. There's so many dungeons. For me personally, BC is my favorite expansion, but it doesn't mean I would just play on BC. I would definitely play on vanilla and BC. But
Yeah.
I know there's people out there who love Wrath of the Lich King, I mean, there's even people out there who love Mists of Pandaria and who love
Yeah.
Cataclysm.
Like Ray.
And those people, yeah, this guy, he loved Panda. He just loved Pandaland.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and they're gonna definitely have to, I think, explore that, because to do vanilla and that's it, I think they're gonna lose out.
Yeah. It's
on a
gonna
lot of
happen.
people.
It's gonna happen,
guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched the cinematic, the way they kind of rewound through everything, I guess that was them kind of saying like they're gonna revisit everything at some point.
Yeah, you could definitely
That was the
assume
way I
that.
was
Yeah.
thinking that maybe. I know like people like Poongoon and other streamers were saying that, that they're gonna be private servers. They already kind of took that into context, but it wasn't specifically said, so we can't really go there yet. But I mean, if all goes well, guys, with this, there's no reason why they wouldn't continue down the road with BC,
Right.
Wrath, Cat. So our job, guys, as a community, is to put our thoughts out there, to put our opinions out there, to say what needs to be said on the forums to the community, and we really have to do our due diligence, our work on this. I'm not even gonna try to say due diligence.
Due diligence. Yeah. It's a hard word.
It is. So we really have a lot of work ahead of us, guys, and it's not just all of Blizzard here. We have a big part in this, and the fact that we do is pretty freaking awesome, because they have already taken into consideration our thoughts and our wishes with this release, and they're going to be looking to us now. They really are.
They are, because you gotta think they're not doing this because they wanted to do it. They're doing this because we said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the money, yeah, of course. But they're doing this for the fan base.
Yeah.
And now this is if we just cried and all the we want private servers, and now we're to just shut up, and they sucked.
Yeah.
It would be our fault. We can't even blame Blizzard, because if we were to say nothing and then it just can't. That's all on us. So it's on us right now to go out there and say, this is how we need to do it. This is what I want. This is what I want to see, and put our opinions in there. And I hope enough of you guys, I think enough of you guys share the same outlook a lot of us have, is to keep it as Blizz-like as possible, to keep it how it was, to keep that real feeling of vanilla, that real feeling of BC, and to move forward with that. We can really have a lot of power in how this goes down, guys.
All right, two things I want to talk about. The first one is, briefly, let's talk about the new cinematic for the new expansion.
Okay. I just want to say the cinematic was freaking awesome.
It was, yeah.
It was amazing. Sylvanas was fucking crazy. Seeing her go in Banshee Queen was amazing. I already don't like, though, how... I mean, it's obvious the Alliance is taking back
Eastern
Lordaeron.
Kingdoms. Yeah, Lordaeron. Yeah.
Lordaeron. And that right there makes me want to play vanilla even more, because I kind of don't like the way the story's progressing. I really don't.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't like the fact
Why is this not an Old Gods expansion? I thought this was supposed to be the old.
I think it will be.
Okay.
Remember how Mist of Pandaria started off with the faction war?
Yeah.
And then kind of got into, the Shahs and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of started off with that real faction war, though, because, Garrosh was going crazy and all that stuff. He bombed Thermore and
Yeah, exactly.
all that good stuff. So I think that's kind of where they're going with this. But I really okay. And the other thing is, guys. So if you go on live starting like 7.3.5, the scaling of the zones is going to be like how it is.
Yeah. They finally
So
figured that out.
if you go to Winter Spring at level, you can go to Winter Spring at like level 20 and go questing in Winter Spring. You can go to Pharrellis at level 15 if you wanted to.
I can't believe they just figured that out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such
That's
a
kind of cool.
yeah.
I don't know, I like the original way a little bit better, but that's kind of big news for them, because that puts the world in more of a front seat. I guess the old world in more of a front seat because I guess you could even. I mean, does that mean you don't have to do Outland from 60 to 70?
Well, no. So what they're doing is they're making Northrend and Outland both viable options from level 60 to 80.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, that I already saw
we
that.
We could go straight to straight to Northrend and just skip Outland if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Or
Which I think
Northrend
is
first and then
good.
do
Yeah.
Outland. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I won't be playing retail, but my thing is like I think that's not a bad idea.
Now, I personally, guys, like I always like to at least test out the expansions when they first come out. I've played Legion. I think I've actually played Legion more than maybe any other expansion because
The Mythic rating.
I love the Mythic Plus system first of all, and I became a little bit more of a serious raider this expansion. With we into the Nighthold, we killed Mythic Gul'dan. In the TOS, we did pretty good in the start on our server, and to me it was just able to put a show of my skills and kind of like because I love healing, and healing's always been my thing. Just kind of like do something that's kind of exciting and challenging. So for me, I had some fun, but there was a lot of things that I didn't like about this expansion. There's a lot of things that I wished kind of I didn't like the whole legendary system. I didn't really like the artifact system. There's a lot of things that I think is wrong, and they're trying to fix moving forward with Battle for Azeroth. But that whole like Titan Forge system and all that, I don't like that. I mean, I don't want to go into a raid and see somebody with LFR gear the same eye level as my Mythic gear. That's
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That is
It is dumb.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues I have with this new expansion. I think the alliance zones, the leveling zones, the Kul'Tiras zones look way better than the Horde zones personally. And so my focus is going to be on the classic thing. I think I'm going to delve a little bit into the new expansion, but definitely not as much as I did in Legion.
Yeah. All right. The last thing I want to talk about is that in a week, less than a week, my brother and I will be starting recording Super Plate Brothers.
Yes.
We're going to continue Super Plate Brothers, we're not going to wait until Blizzard launches their legacy servers. We're going to start the videos next week. So I want you guys to just know that they are coming. And
They're coming, guys.
Yeah, the way we're going to keep it relevant and we're not going to burn ourselves out. We're going to do it every once in a while. And we're going to do it like once, maybe like we're going to upload once a week, just so you guys know, because what always happens is we burn ourselves out every single time. We play way too much, and we're like, oh shit, we can't keep up with it. Do you agree with that, Matt? Or
I do too, and I still have some other stuff going on. We're going to be raiding still in Antorus with my guild, so that kind of puts me on my. I'm having fun playing on Warmane, so I'm trying to juggle that a little bit.
Yeah.
I also I'm thinking about recording my own. Maybe some Warmane. If you guys are interested in that, leave some comments. If you want to see Warmane, if you want to see me do Mythic Raid in Antorus, which I'm sure none of you do, but if some of you do, let me know. But I'm probably going to put my focus on recording on Warmane and doing some BC content. So if you guys want to see that, there'll be more follow-up links and stuff like that. Once I get started.
Yeah, so what I'll do is when Matt gets started, I'll make his channel a featured channel on my channel, so you guys will see it. And blah blah blah. That'll be no problem. But I want to have a guarantee to these guys is that one episode per week. Do you think that's
absolutely
fair?
That is totally doable.
Yeah. It might even be 2 episodes per week because we're going to make them shorter episodes.
Depending on how much we
yeah.
Because if we do a full run
Of a
it's gonna probably
dungeon.
take us, a couple hours.
Yeah, and that'll be one whole episode, or I might break it up into 2 episodes. We'll see. But the content will be coming, and I'm sorry that it's been so not regular recently. I've been busy, and Matt's
Guys, if you don't
yeah.
know, Phil's working on his doctorate. So
Yeah.
he's been a pretty busy guy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm going to end it, actually. I think we covered everything, right?
There's a lot of, I think, questions out there that haven't been answered that are kind of still being speculated on, and I think we'll visit those in the future
Yeah.
with our videos. We can talk about them as we're, leveling and stuff.
Yeah,
But
I
for
agree.
the most part, guys, I think this is a real positive thing. They're coming. The
Yeah.
Nella Classic Wizard servers, guys, are coming. How fucking awesome is that?
I know. We never thought
I
this
didn't
was
think
going to
it
happen.
Like, I
Yep.
really thought they surprised the shit out of me.
Yep,
And,
me too.
Guys, if you want to, check out more of this, and if you like what we do, come leave a like and subscribe to Phil's channel, and when my channel comes out, have a look over there. But we're really glad to be able to do this for you guys, and we're just really excited.
Yeah, me too. Well, guys, let me just kill this troll so I can give you guys a wave real quick. But let me give you a wave. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out. And Super Plate Brothers next week, the first episode. So have a good one, guys.
Look forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah.
Take care.